I'm back, I'm Gertie Rude, back again, and I'm in a blimmin' boiling hot mood. Yes, I am. It's like bleeding Dubai at the moment in Sussex. Yes, it is, Vootuvers. Hard to breathe. It's so blooming hot. Well, I wouldn't be British if I wasn't moaning about the damn weather. Anyway, so I thought I'd start moaning about this lodge. I'll bring you Nadine Doris, whatever her bleeding name is. Doris Nadine. The Nadir, well, I tell you what, we are going to go to the Nadir of Nadine's beef, because she's got beef food tubers. Yes, she has. She's got so much beef. Well, it's one she don't believe work in a butcher's. So anyway, shall we listen? Because it's all happening, VooTubers. It's all blooming well happening. Yes, it is. Here we go. Listen to poor Nadine. Come on, Nadine.
Which
Yes.
I think they call sophistry, which
Right.
is using a language and words in order to
Sophistry.
deceive. What most
Sophistry, yes. Does rather sound like you lot, doesn't it? Whatever that word is. Could also call it BS, you know? Never mind. Come on, Nadine. I love that blonde hair dye, darling.
Johnson
Very
actually asked him
becoming.
to do
Right.
was to ask COLAC to do the
Yes.
re-vetting, which required to be done MPs. Now, can I
Yes.
just explain why that's important?
Yeah, go on.
So every 6
don't
months,
care,
a
but go on.
re-vetting has to take place.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's make
Yes.
this easy for the viewers.
Okay.
Every so many months they have to go to the vets or something or other, she's saying. Well, I mean, they are politicians. It's probably a precaution. Here's Piers. Come on, Piers. Put her through the mill, dear.
Who aren't up to speed on all the
Yes.
nuances. Let's go back to the beginning.
They're all on
Yes.
speed,
Boris
apparently.
Johnson tells you
Right.
when
Yes.
that he's intending
Yes.
to make you a baroness. When does he have that first
Oh, that was
conversation?
ages ago. That was back in the autumn sometime.
So, Boris is going to make Nadine a baroness, which would actually make her a dame. I think she's rather doing the part of dame very well, isn't she? Yes, it's a shame there's no pantomimes going around stray, just begging for a bleeding dame. Here we are, it's Dame Nadine. Oh, yes, Dame Nadine,
It
come
was
on.
a private conversation.
Yes.
You're not allowed to talk about it afterwards.
No.
It's a private conversation
private.
to say that I've been put
It's
on
private,
his
but I'm going to go on the telly, I'm going to talk about it. Yes, I am, VooTubers.
resignation on his list.
To be a baroness.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it is when you go into the Lords.
Okay.
Oh, she's going to be a
what was
baroness,
your
not a dame.
reaction
Okay,
to that? How did you feel
whatever.
about
But it's quite emotional actually because
Yeah.
I never, I've always revered the House of Lords. I think
Yes.
it's actually a place where I know a lot of people criticise
Yes.
it and make fun of it almost, but it's
Mhm.
a place where all the heavy lifting.
It's a place where all the heavy lifting happens, apparently, VooTubers. She's she uses this, she throws it around willy-nilly, you know. There's a lot of heavy lifting that goes on, apparently, according to Nadir and Nadine, whatever her bleeding name is, in the House of Lords. Yes! So you've got a load of 90-year-old men lifting weights or something. I don't know what they get up to in there. Anyway, apparently, they do heavy lifting, power lifting, VooTubers. Yes!
Of the scrutiny of bills
It's a
actually takes
freebie.
place. The Commons has become this set piece
Yes.
theatre for Prime Minister's
Right.
questions and for other big pieces. But actually, where all the heavy lifting, where
Oh,
it's
okay.
stuffed full of
Yes,
people
it's a
with
gym.
expertise,
The House of
and
Lords.
wisdom and knowledge.
Right.
It's the Lords. And so it's a kind of place you look
So
at.
every time I turn on the Lords, half of them are bleeding sleep. It's like a blimmin' old people's home. But come on, Nadine.
Well, there are a lot of old useless duffers there as well.
Oh, Piers hit the nail on the
There may
head.
possibly be, but I couldn't comment.
Yes.
But there's also a lot of really serious heavy lifting goes on there. And
Heavy
it is a
lifting
place
again.
that,
She does rather like that, doesn't she? That's her. That is to her what. Well, it's her buzzword, isn't it? Yes, it is. She's like Wedger with his denigrate. Oh, I don't like to denigrate anybody, and then goes on to denigrate them. With this one, it's a lot of heavy lifting. Yeah, she does a lot of heavy lifting. She's a heavyweight lifter.
God, from my background,
Right.
no one would ever have dreamt
No.
that someone from my background
No.
could get
I mean,
into
people who don't know your background, why do you say
We're still really rather wondering why you believe yourself worthy of being in the House of Lords, my dear. From a very scant inspection, I do note that you haven't actually appeared in the House of Commons since July last year, despite the fact you are, in fact, what one might call an MP, which is, well, it stands for Member of Parliament, but perhaps she's too busy doing weightlifting somewhere else or something or other. Come on, Nadir.
So I was born in a place called Breck Road in Liverpool, which I think is probably classified.
She was born in cardboard box, VooTubers, cardboard box, middle of road. Yes, she was, VooTubers. She was that bleeding poor, she had to share shoes before she could go to school, VooTubers. By gum, Poor old Nadine. Send her to the House of Lords, that's what I say. I think she's the right person. She can go in the House of Lords, earn loads of money and just fall asleep. Yes, have a little
On
rest.
one of the poorest streets
You have to give
in
up
the country,
powerlifting
not
though,
just in
love.
Liverpool, one of the poorest wards.
Poor.
And, it was most of my life, the
Yeah.
first almost 30 years of my life were very
Right.
tough.
Oh,
It was,
hang on. I do have a rather small, in fact, I would call it a miniature violin, and I am, viewers, for her delectation, vigorously strumming it right now. I'm fingering it. I can't help
financially
myself.
very, very hard.
Yes.
I literally, it sounds
I'm
like some
plucking.
Dickens novel, but I literally had to borrow shoes to go to school.
Oh,
I
little Dorrit.
literally know what hunger pains feel like.
Yes.
And, I was born a long time ago. I was born in 57.
Yes, many of us do from that post-war era. But anyway, Nadir, go on, off you go.
The 60s went great.
Yes.
For, in the early 70s for surviving.
Oh.
And there wasn't the benefit system or, the safety net that there is today for people.
Right.
So it was pretty tough. And
so she hitched herself to Boris Johnson's wagon, and she did in fact become what one might call his lap dog. Yes, she hung off him like a bleeding dingleberry. Yeah, poor old Dorisovsky, he couldn't do nothing wrong in her eyes. He could shoot up a bleeding orphanage and she'd find an excuse for him. Come on, Nadir. She was the one on the media thing, wasn't she? Minister of Media and something or other no one gives stuff about. Looking into us being bled dry for that BBC TV licence that we all have to pay, despite the fact that we receive television, if one had a television, for a streaming service that we pay for our broadband. But no, we have to pay for the BBC, which majority of people don't watch or anything to do with the BBC. She sat on it for years and made loads of money, but guess what, VTubers? Still having to pay the TV licence, aren't we? So, yeah. She wants to go in the House of Lords, though. Go on then, Nadine.
Think that, I didn't even know what a university was.
Make me feel sorry for you.
I didn't know that universities even existed. It was just something.
You could be poor, but it doesn't mean you were thick, my dear. People do know about universities, even if you were born cardboard boxed up middle of the road.
In fact, the House of Lords, I wouldn't have known if you'd asked me at 21 to know the House of Lords.
Yes, so don't lie, Nadine. We all taught education. We all taught that at school. We all knew about Lords, especially because you're older than me, love. And if you were, like you say you were in the 60s and 70s, all the echelons and the elite and the lords and the royals and everything would have been shoved vigorously down your throats, just like it was every other child's. Yes! She probably needs to go up to the Lords, pay for enough facelift, though, doesn't she, VTubers? Come on, Nadine.
But you're being put on a list.
I feel so
to
sorry
be nominated to go into the House of Lords.
She's on the list.
It's just like, it's unbelievable. And for me, it's so important because I did this a lot when I was Secretary of State in DCMS. It was all about making sure that ladders were put down into those backgrounds to give people opportunities to work in the arts and culture because they
I'll stop you there. You had a list of putting down people, raising them up or something or other. You do sound a bit word salady, as if you've imbibed quite a bit of Woco. So, how many years did you say? 18 years, 27 years, or something no one gives a stuff about? Can we now have the list of all the people that you have empowered and raised up, Nadine? Yes! Oh.
Because they don't now. Not. Because the kind of people who do work in arts and culture are those who went to independent school or, whose dad's a producer or whatever.
Okay.
So, for me, it was kind of, that's the next step.
Touch of inverted snobbery always goes a long way, doesn't it, VTubers? Poor old Nadine. She was literally little Dorrit. She was.
Age, if I go into the Lords, it actually sends a signal to other people. Doesn't matter where you come from.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you're born to. Doesn't matter how poor you are.
No.
If you can get there. I call it the class ceiling or the class ceiling where I come from. I wanted to break that ceiling.
Okay, so
in other words, she was doing it for us VTubers, us peasants. You see, all us poor people, the ignorant, the unwashed, yes, the ill-educated and ill-bred. She was doing it for us VTubers. And I'll cut the story short. Turned out she didn't get it. Old wishy-washy put his bleeding cobblers on it. Wasn't it his personal assistant? Can't think. Was it Fawcett or was that? Oh, I don't know. Do you know what? I really, literally care less. Something or other stopped it. And it was obviously an internecine warfare because it's like playing chess politics, isn't it? He, on his way out the door, before he let the bleeding door swing back and hit him on the arse, decided, did old Boris, that he was going to elevate people people that he found worthy to go in the House of Lords. Now, obviously, he picked all his little cronies. So he was on his way down. But on his way up, which he's already said he's going to do, he's going to be back. Yeah, I'll be back. One of them, he's obviously making sure he's got all his people in the House of Lords, isn't he? So that anything that needs to go through will go through unfettered because he's got all his people in there. Wishy-Washy, however, there was a split faction. There was Wishy-Washy's people and his little crew, and then there was Boris and Boris's little crew. And if she accepted the baronet or whatever it is, she would have to resign as an MP, which would trigger a by-election, which would be a resounding, well, they're going to get crushed, the Tories, aren't they? So obviously they stopped it. They forgot to tell her to fill a form in or some BS that we're all invited to believe. So that's why she didn't get it. And now apparently it's everyone's fault. It's not hers. It's nothing to do with her. It's everyone else's fault. Oh, it's a conspiracy. Yes, they're all out to get a Vutu. Yes, they were. But it wasn't. It was just an internecine warfare between two factions within the Conservative Party. If they could just see their way to maybe, making the country a better place instead of handbags at dawn every other bleeding day. Anyway, I'll leave it there, Vutu viewers. Bye-bye now.